The Federal Reserve announced they will raise rates by 0.5%. This means cars, loans, and mortgages are about to be harder to get and more expensive to hold. This is the biggest rate gain in years and the highest ever under a Democrat president. After news of the Supreme Court decision to most likely overturn Roe versus Wade yesterday, riots broke out in Los Angeles, California. I told you this would happen. Initially, the crowd was peaceful, but that changed as night fell. People smashed the glass of police cars and businesses as they were screaming and chanting. When police tried to make arrests, groups of violent protesters would ambush them, beat them up, and free the person from detainment. Beforehand, Vice President Kamala Harris tweeted that it is time to fight for women and for our country with everything we have. While this tweet was most likely intended to be nonviolent, it is possible that some have interpreted this literally. After January 6th, it should be abundantly clear that world leaders should speak very clearly in defined terms so they don't escalate in situations unintentionally. For example, Trump said, "Fight like hell" on January 6th, and Harris said, "Fight with everything you have." To me, these both kind of sound like a call to fight, since they're basically saying, go fight. Now, this came as a major shock to me. Many ultra-liberal, left-leaning women are now blaming the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg for the potential overturning of Roe versus Wade. Here's why. The woman they championed as the greatest fighter for women's rights in U.S. history is now being blamed for not retiring and allowing a younger left-leaning justice to replace her. Again, I was totally shocked. She went from hero to zero in 24 hours. Pope Francis, head of the Catholic Church, is now publicly blaming the United States and NATO for bullying Russia into attacking Ukraine. He said NATO should never have teased the idea of Ukraine joining NATO, and Putin would have minded his own business. But now he's attacking, and NATO is to blame. The Pope is now trying to get a face-to-face meeting with Vladimir Putin, since no one else seems to be able to reach him. By the way, make sure to check out my video from last night where I go over the cover-up going on in Ukraine using American tax dollars. I'll put it at the end of my video. It's definitely worth watching. The man who owned the shop where Hunter Biden dropped his laptop off for repair is now suing CNN, Representative Adam Schiff, and Politico for millions and millions of dollars. His name is John Paul Mac Isaac, and he lost his business because of this and was ridiculed for months on end. John is going after a case based on defamation of character, and he says these major news networks crafted a Russian conspiracy story around him without any evidence. He says this lie helped a specific presidential candidate, and his goal is to uncover the corruption and clear his name. Former Mayor de Blasio of New York has some advice for President Joseph Robinette Biden. He said he was a beloved mayor that stopped caring about the problems of the average person and lost their trust. He said he failed to show them what he hoped to do for them, and this made him become very unpopular. In fact, he's now considered one of the most unpopular mayors in New York City history. De Blasio begs Biden, "Do not follow in my footsteps. Make sure you're paying attention to the average person's problems. Show them that you care and that you have concerns and that you're trying to solve the problem. Otherwise, you'll become unpopular like me." The Hill has posted an opinion piece that stated, Trump is the Democrat Party's only hope in 2024, saying that they believe if Trump runs, that Democrats will win. The opinion piece argues that Trump has way too much baggage, especially regarding January 6th, for anyone to care about the real issues facing the nation. In other words, because Trump cause so much emotional damage to people, they're hoping that they'll forget all of the financial damage that Biden has caused them. And so they're saying if Trump runs, Biden can win. If Trump doesn't run, Democrats don't have any shot at winning in 2024. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Donald Trump will run in 2024? Do you think Joseph Biden will run in 2024? Let me know. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Both Trump and Biden have their flaws, but without a doubt, it appears that Trump still has more influence. Here's what I mean. All 22 candidates that were endorsed by Trump in Indiana and Ohio swept the primaries last night. This shows that Trump still holds a special place in the hearts of many Americans. Trump also recently returned to his own social media app, Truth Social, where he's already gathered 2.5 million followers. Biden said today that Trump-loving MAGA Americans are the most extreme group in American history. Even though Biden promised to be America's president and not a Democrat-only president, and promised to unify the country, my guess is he will become meaner and meaner towards Republican voters as we near the 2022 election. Biden went on to say that Republicans cannot win, or they won't let you have abortion, they won't allow interracial marriage, and they won't let gays go to school. I mean, these ideas are so crazy, he actually believes them, right? I mean, these make for some fiery talking points, but really, they're going to go back on interracial marriage. They're not going to let gays go to school. These are all like really crazy talking points, but it's what's in the news today. All right, here's where Republicans and Democrats might be able to work together. Democrat and Republican senators are strategizing ways to get marijuana banking legislation passed. Some are thinking about throwing it into the next large bill so that it can pass without all of the pushback. Senator Pat Murray says that cannabis businesses are forced to mainly operate in cash, which makes them high targets for robberies. This move could make marijuana one step closer to becoming a modern commodity that is available everywhere. Speculation that Moscow was going to formally declare war on Ukraine in early May is still rising. However, a Russian spokesperson just announced that this is nonsense. Putin is trying to soften the impact of his deeds by calling it a special military operation instead of a war, but it clearly isn't working. The speculation was originally fueled by May 9th being declared as Victory Day in Russia as a remembrance of the defeat of the Nazi Party back in 1945. I mean, how are we not calling this a war right now? I mean, Russia has decimated multiple Ukrainian cities. This isn't a war game exercise. Like, this is war. I don't know why we're not just calling it war, but anyway, that's what's in the news today. Now, this is my update for today. As I know more, I will definitely come on and share more with you. Before you go, I want to remind you that you are amazing. Also, make sure to check out my video from yesterday about the cover-up going on in Ukraine using American tax dollars. You're not going to believe it. And I got the receipts and I show you everything in the video. Hey, I appreciate you being in my community, and I'll see you on the next video.